Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. This is Dog Focus, where we're going to talk everything dogs. We're going to talk today a little bit about how to budget for your buddy. If you're thinking about getting a new dog or you just got a new dog, this is the video for you. We're going to talk everything budget-wise, everything, all things dog money. All right, so when it comes to budgeting for your dog, there's a lot of things that you're gonna have to take into account. The first thing you're gonna take into account is probably the easiest, and that's just the cost of your dog. Now, depending on how you wanna go about finding your new pup, and maybe you already have, but if you're still in the searching phase, then you're gonna take into consideration things like vaccinations, health checkups, any kind of worming, any kind of initial cost. Now, for a lot of people, if you're gonna buy a pup from a breeder, most of those costs are all associated with or tied into the initial purchase price of the pup. On the other hand, if you're going to go to a shelter or you're going to do a rescue dog, then there's some costs you need to take into account. Now, around where I'm at, a typical vet visit's going to cost you somewhere between $50 and $75 for just a wellness check. If you get a shelter dog or a rescue dog, one of the very first things I would do is take your dog to the vet, have them checked out, have them wormed, figure out if depending on the situation, you might have a vaccination schedule. If not, consult with your vet and figure out what the best way to get your dog vaccinated and on a regular routine with those important shots. So, all right, number two, the second thing you want to take into consideration are the grooming. Well, any ongoing cost associated with your dog. Now, this will also depend on the dog breed. So there are some costs that are going to be the same across the board, regardless of the fee. For example, vaccinations. Now, if you're comfortable giving the shots yourself, dog vaccinations, all except some of the bigger ones like a rabies shot, you can buy those from a cow ranch or a Tractor Supply or any kind of an animal farm supply place is going to have your dog vaccinations. That shot, if you have the stomach for it and you're confident enough in it, I've not ever had a problem giving my dogs the shots, and those run anywhere from $11 to $16 a shot. So once your dog gets the first initial 3 sets of shots, you're only once a year, so that's $15 to $16 a year. Now, if you're having a vet do it, usually they'll tie those in with a health visit, and so you're somewhere in the ballpark of $50 to $70. Okay, another ongoing cost that you're going to have to take into account if you get a breed like a poodle or a Bichon or any of these non-shedding dogs, these dogs are going to have regular grooming fees. Yes, Labradors and Golden Retrievers shed, but you almost never have to take them to a groomer. So when it comes to grooming fees, depending on the size of your dog and your location, a groomer in Miami costs quite a bit more than a groomer in Idaho. So you're going to have to check that out for yourself, but plan on putting down a pretty penny. Other ongoing costs that you need to be aware of, dog food can be very expensive. You're going to want to be aware of, exactly what kind of dog food you want. I've got a couple of brands that I really like. When you do pick a dog food brand, stick with it. It can cause your dog some upset stomach and things. So find a dog food that you're comfortable with the ingredients and with the price. I really like the Explorer by Black Gold. It has quality ingredients and it doesn't break the bank. I pay about $1 a pound for that dry kibble there. So. Other ongoing things that you're going to need to take care of, those are your big ones: grooming, food, and vaccinations, or a vet visit once a year. So depending on the size of your dog and how much you eat, you're going to want to budget I budget about $50 a month for food, and I budget about $100 a year for typical standard vet visits. And then I have a Labrador Retriever, so I don't have to worry about any kind of a grooming fee for him. Now, just like anything else, it's a really good idea to have a pet emergency fund. So number 3 in your budget, I would include some kind of a savings account, because if your dog does have an accident, it gets hit by a car, gets really sick, you're going to want to have some cash on hand to take into an emergency vet. Just be aware, all emergency vet services, just like any other, my copay triples every time I go to the ER. The same is true for vet visits if you have to go in after hours or on a weekend. And I don't know why it is, but dogs never seem to get hurt. My dogs never seem to get hurt Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. It's always after hours at night or on the weekends, and we're always paying the 24/7 ER vet bills. So not a bad idea to put away $10, $15, $20 a month and just stockpile that so that when your dog does have an accident, I know none of us want to think that our dog is going to have an accident, but it does happen from time to time, and you want to be financially prepared as well as emotionally prepared for when that happens. The last thing you want to worry about in a time like that is money when you need to focus on the comfort and the safety of your four-legged buddy. All right, number 4 is something that people always forget when it comes to establishing a budget for their dogs, and it's the incidentals. It's the little things. You're walking down the aisle at Walmart or at Target, and you see some cute toy that your dog's just got to have. And toys cost anywhere from $3 to $12 depending on what you get them. And it just seems like you're always buying 1 or 2 of those a month. So I'd plan on $15 a month in just incidentals. Maybe it's an extra treat, or maybe it's an extra toy every now and then, but plug that into your budget so that it's there when you need it. Okay, now I've mentioned vet costs already, but let me do a plug really quick for online vet services. There are several of those that are available. Pet insurances are also available. I'm going to leave some links down below if you want to check those out. For pretty reasonable prices now, you can get health insurance for your dog. Some of the old timers are going to think that's a little bit ridiculous, but if you've got a dog that you've invested several $1,000s into over the course of 4 or 5 years, and something happens, and you're a few $100s short from being able to save your pet's life and extend that pup's life, maybe possibly even 10 or 12 years more with your buddy, it might be worth the $15, $20, or $25 a month in health insurance for your pet. And the other thing that you can have, sometimes online vet services, just like, it's been kind of nice a couple of times for my own health when I didn't really want to go in and pay a full copay, but I could jump on my phone and have a doctor check out my throat and see if they thought it looked like strep, or have them listen to my cough and see if they thought it was something I needed to go into. I paid $10 instead of $25 for a copay. And so those services are also available. I'll leave some links below to both online vets as well as some reliable and some trustworthy pet insurance companies that you could check out. All right, in conclusion, let's just wrap this up by saying owning a dog is it's not a cheap affair. It is a financial commitment as well as a time commitment. And for the most part, we always talk about the time commitment. Whenever our kids are saying, "Can we get a puppy? Can we get a puppy?" Our minds typically go to the time commitment that it is. And it's not just a time commitment for a short period of time. It's not a basketball season. It's a time commitment for 10 or 11 or 12 years or 15 years. And so the time commitment is important to weigh that out, but it's also important to weigh out the financial costs associated with owning a dog. And I hope we've been able to give you a few things to think about. I really, really suggest you check out the online vet services or the pet insurance, as well as the idea of having some kind of an emergency savings account for your pet in case something happens. Heaven forbid it happens. We hope that our dogs never have that, and maybe your dog goes your whole life and never has an unexpected vet visit. And if that's the case, then great. Then you've got a pretty nice little nest egg that you can, go buy a Tesla or something. But in the event that something does happen, how nice would it be to be able to just go to a savings account, pull out the money that you needed, and not have to worry about the financial stress associated with, do I help the dog? Do I save the dog? Or the awful side of, I just can't I can't afford it. So Hope I've given you a few things to think about. If this has been helpful, please click that subscribe button, hit the like button, share this with anybody that you know that might be checking out the idea of getting a new dog, just to help them prepare and be ready for what it entails. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.